Well, climate change is increasingly becoming as much about economics as it is the environment. A new study from the IMF, the University of Cambridge, and the University of Southern California predicts that unless the effects of climate change can be tackled, economies across the planet are going to suffer. And as our Washington correspondent Kevin McAleese explains, the United States will be no exception.
Climate change is brewing a powerful global economic storm. That's according to new research that predicts rising temperatures and extreme weather events will result in worldwide GDP losses, no matter how advanced the economy.
In the US, we expect the income losses due to climate change to be around 10% of GDP without mitigation policies. This is a substantial hit to the US economy.
And it's not just the US. Dr. Mahadis and his team predict that by the year 2100, China's economy will decline by 4.3% and the European Union by 4.6%.
When the weather is hotter than you're used to, your labor productivity falls. But also, you need to cool down your housing. And if you cool down your houses, you have less disposable income. You have less disposable income, you can spend less money on retail.
He believes one way the US can defend against the economic threat would be to rejoin the Paris climate deal.
The US economy losses, about 10%, would be reduced to under 2%. In China, the losses under the business as usual scenario is around 4%. They would be reduced to around 0.5%. So there is a huge reduction in losses, a substantial reduction in losses if we are able to commit to the Paris Agreement.
But that position is at odds with President Trump, who ended the US role in the climate accord in 2017, claiming it would hurt American jobs while also benefiting countries like China. Members of America's vast agriculture industry, many of whom voted for Donald Trump, are expected to increasingly bear the brunt of climate change.
We see that farmers and ranchers are on the front lines of climate change. It's a weather-dependent industry, so as much as any other sort of group of citizens, their livelihood is affected by it. We're all affected by climate change, but their livelihood day in, day out is affected by this.
Conservation groups argue that agricultural land plays a vital role in countering carbon emissions. But with increasing development and urban sprawl, natural solutions are problematic.
Over the last 20 years, we have lost 31 million acres of agricultural land. So that's 3 acres a minute. So, a couple of, maybe 6 acres as we talk. And that's going to increase the pressure on ag land with less ag land available to deal with the impacts of climate change. Impacts
that critics say are being ignored by a US administration that continues to roll back environmental regulations. Kevin McAleese, CNA, Washington.